I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's your boy Flo Beto, Flobo Boys. Call me the mayor, as the sounds of Mac Lynch fill the room. It's the Monday Night Raw After Show on AfterBuzz TV. Super Showdown's on the horizon, Elimination Chamber's on the horizon, and we're on the road to WrestleMania. So before we get to all the matches and our good segments like King's Court and your poll question of the night, let's introduce our all-star panel. On the far, far left, he is, quote, the red-blooded American male who turned down joining NWO Hollywood. Give it up for Jack Farmer.
We just thugging it out.
Okay, that's pretty hardcore. Oh, no, on his right, from RealTalker.com official, he gets the interviews among Hollywood's elite. Give it up for Jim Alexander.
Well, it just only makes sense the elite interviews the elite, right?
Yeah, you're pretty up. You're up there.
Me.
And of course, born and raised in Los Angeles, he is known as Hollywood Hermosa from the Monday Night Raw and Espanol show. Give it up for George Hermosa.
Wait, you were an American male. Would you be the Marcus Bagwell or the Scotty Riggs of the American males?
I would be the Marcus Bagwell.
Okay. Are you buff? Are you turning buff? No, you turned it down.
What are you guys talking about?
Well, it's
He was an American male.
There's a guy that calls himself buff, and we always accepted it.
And he's the stuff.
And I'm the stuff.
And of course, the sounds
No wonder they went under.
and controlling the booth, he is the Hollywood sex slayer himself, Mr. Josh Alonso.
For one night only, I'm not the sex slayer. I'm
Why?
actually the salad slayer.
Oh,
'Cause I'm
no,
about to
is that
go
Keo
all
or what?
on this salad.
What kind of salad?
I don't know. What kind of salad?
Greek salad right across from Tom's
Greek
Burgers.
salad. Is that place any good? I don't know, man. Every time I have reservations about it. Every time I try.
The questions you're asking, we answer.
Listen, I'll promote the show if they give us a sponsorship. So I'll promote that restaurant, whatever it is.
It's all good. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We're talking about Joseph Bosa, Derek Fisher, Michael Blake, Dangam Q, Dylan Matthews, Aussie, oi, oi, Angie Harris. Thank you so much for joining us. Let's talk about Monday Night Raw overall thoughts on the show. Jim Alexander.
Oh, we're starting with me? This is good. Good way to go. Well, it's a go-home show again. It seems like we're talking about it every week for the big Super Showdown. I just felt that was the goal tonight. Super Showdown, make Ricochet look strong, which is funny because he's going to get squashed in 4 days.
Maybe not. He may become the new
I can
champion.
bet every girl I've ever dated on that. You know,
That's a random thing to bet.
Two.
What does that mean? Do I get your girls?
It means
what?
Both of them.
It needs to happen. No, it was a setup show, right? So I felt that was the whole purpose of today is just like, let's promote Super Showdown, and then I think you're going to have a quick clean start next week because then it's Elimination Chamber.
Right, Jack.
Yeah, so to pull back the curtain a little bit, something that we always try to do, or you always try to do as the host, is we always want to talk about the biggest thing that happened first. And the past few weeks, it seems like they've been good shows, but nothing feels like it's the biggest thing that happened on the show. It doesn't have that big marquee moment the past few weeks. That's what I took away. It was a good show, but no headline.
I totally agree with you, George. What do you think?
I agree. And it's so weird for it to be a go-home show for a show that's going to be on Thursday. Especially when we still have a SmackDown, which I'm curious, like, how are they going to arrange it so the same thing doesn't happen again?
Well, who's making it? Can they literally make it in time back for people? Like,
well, we're looking at the card. We'll get to it now. Most of it is Raw talent. I mean, we have the Bray Wyatt match in Bayley versus Naomi, but Seth Rollins and Murphy, Andrade, most of these guys.
Still, you're going to need the main people from
exactly.
SmackDown.
Like on
Well, John
SmackDown,
Cena's already been billed for Friday. So
I think, most likely, because the main people on SmackDown is Roman Reigns, Baron Corbin, and New Day, who they're all booked for, Super Showdown. But you did just make a good point that John Cena, they're probably banking on John Cena and that being the big thing to happen this Friday.
I say bring NXT back in. I thought that was a fantastic
That's a good point.
SmackDown.
I bet
I'm sure Rosenberg's going to figure out by Sunday.
Josh Turner. I think her Fox was like, wait, you're going to say that again? What do we get? Oh, you get Cena. We swear, it's all good.
It's just it's too close, and it puts too much pressure on the wrestlers to get back if they have to get back, especially Bray Wyatt. It's just kind of unfair.
I just hope that they finally figured out logistically this time.
Hey, I'm just glad that it's actually before Mania this year, not the WrestleMania equivalent event. That to me, that was kind of weird.
It's bigger than WrestleMania. WrestleMania.
You just undersold your whole thing. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. I
So
love
this-
that music.
This main event, Godsmack. Randy Orton against Kevin Owens because Randy Orton's going through some stuff, hitting people with chairs. And Kevin Owens is the guy that's supposed to be our guy, the everyman, but with no direction. George Ramosa, thoughts about the match and this storyline?
I mean, the match was good. Except for the confusing finish. I mean, we kind of saw it coming where we saw, like, wait, we've never really seen this ref before. He's got to be working for Seth Rollins. And
Really? I did not see that
Really?
coming
You
at
didn't
all.
see that?
I was like, this guy's kind of doughy, but I didn't think, like, he was
Because it
wearing a
was just
shirt.
doughy. Well, it's the only thing that made sense to
That
me.
was the
Because
first
it's like,
thing to describe him.
Because he was wearing two shirts. He looked like he was stuffed, but he was wearing barely his employer's T-shirt, which is weird. But go ahead.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's probably just some local guy. I doubt he's going to be a part of the show, but it's weird because you have this thing where the rumor is Samoa Joe's out with an injury, so you think that he was part of the plans, and now we just kind of have Kevin Owens by himself. I don't know. I feel like this storyline, while I like the workers involved, it just kind of seems a little stale.
Wait, are we talking about Randy Orton? I thought that's where we were going to.
Yeah.
Or Seth Rollins.
We're talking about the main event. That's
That
Randy
involves
Orton.
Seth Rollins.
To me, the
they
main
got
event
his-
was
his people.
The main event was Randy Orton cutting that promo at the start of the show. That's the main event. This is the biggest thing going on right now
I
in
give
the
it to you,
WWE.
yeah.
No question.
I
I think
agree.
we're talking about the marquee thing.
Yeah.
You're saying what's important. Randy Orton, he's must see TV. In that case, as far as Seth Rollins. At least they separate him from Owens and Joe and the Viking Raiders for a week,
Well, did they though? Because it came down anyway, and it became
But
this
at
giant
least they
dust
had
up.
a match against Montez, and somewhat separated for a bit.
Yeah.
I get you got the feud on pause right now,
Right.
momentarily, just to get through Super Showdown. So it was at least okay to see Seth not in the ring with Kevin Owens and the Viking Raiders for 1 week.
It felt refreshing for Kevin Owens, too, because I think he's so good on the microphone and he's such a great character, but it does feel like he's running on fumes a bit with this rivalry with Seth Rollins. And I think he was probably really happy to get the chance to work with someone like Orton, who is really hot right now. And
How
just
good would they be
crushing
at
it.
Elimination Chamber, though, working against each other?
They
That
would
would be a
be
great
fantastic.
match. Yeah.
I think it's kind of interesting with Kevin Owens. Like, he was my pick to win the Royal Rumble, but that seems like such a dumb thing in retrospect, how far he's fallen. But the match itself was pretty solid. I'm not really sure with the Seth Rollins Monday Night Messiah thing, because they got involved, kind of. What's next for them?
Well, we need to have a clear path of what's going on.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned that Kevin Owens fallen back. He hasn't fallen back. It's just a cluster of not knowing what to do with him. It's like they're pairing this feud for WrestleMania, but they started way too early, and now they don't know what to do with it. It's at a standstill, and they need to freshen up, because now you got into this trouble where you started way too early. You wanted to fill in some programming around Royal Rumble and stuff that you could have easily not done and started it now or after Super Showdown, just started this feud. And now they're in trouble. They need to spike. They need to either put some major stipulation if this is going to be a match at Mania or whatnot. Something needs to be big that this all boils down
Well,
to.
the immediate next step they're alluding to, and that is the Street Profits taking the titles off of Seth Rollins and Murphy, because they need to find a way to pivot the tag team titles off of them so that AOP can get in that title picture.
Or just have it revolve around the Street Profits.
Or have it revolve around the Street Profits, because the Street Profits are crazy entertaining. I always say to myself, I think maybe they've been doing too much mic time stuff, but then their music hits and they walk out, and
What's entertaining? Them in the ring?
like nobody, and I'm like bouncing around with them the whole time, and then as soon as they come out, I'm like, I'm into it. But
I just gave up on it.
Super kick him?
No, I was just going to ask a question, like, what's entertaining? Their backstage stuff or their in-ring? Because these are two separate. No, it's two separate things.
Them
Them
in
in the ring is a different entertaining than the crap they do backstage, which is amateur nonsense early 90s stuff.
So let's jump ahead a little bit. Let's talk about their match. There was an individual match with Angelo Dawkins versus Murphy, and eventually Seth Rollins against Montez Ford, which some could argue was the actual real main event of the evening, how that technical that match was. Did they impress you as single competitors or more in-ring stuff, or was not really feeling it?
We don't see him ever as singles. So it's kind of weird seeing them as singles in a sense. It's good because then you get to see what they work like without each other. So I like the thing that we got a chance to see him work solo and who's maybe more impressive, of them two.
Yeah.
Or do they need each other both to really put themselves both over? I like this preview in a sense of what they could be individually. So I like that they did that.
I thought Montez Ford, even in losing clean, they were saying to us that he is a huge star. The fact that Murphy and Dawkins, their match was kind of cut short. They didn't get much time. Ford got plenty of time with one of the biggest stars in the company.
Because he's working with Seth, though.
And they gave him time, and he looked good. He looked like he fit with Seth, though.
True.
It didn't look like it wasn't like Seth facing some.
Didn't give Seth Dawkins.
Nobody.
They didn't give Seth Dawkins.
Well, here's the thing. Someone's going to get the short end of the stick, right? I mean, whoever's going to get Buddy was going to get a worse opponent, in a sense, and someone not as seasoned as Seth or prominent as Seth.
George, let me ask you a question about the two matches there. I know that Street Profits are kind of the premier tag team in that division, even though they don't hold the tag team championships. They had a decent outing. What do you think about that, or are you just kind of not really on board?
I think it's more, and I hate to speak for Vince McMahon, but I feel like we all see that Montez Ford is the star of the group. So I feel like a lot of it was maybe experimental, like, well, let's see what he can do in this situation, where he really didn't have Angelo Dawkins on to rely on. So I'm hoping that this doesn't mean that they're going to break him up in a month. Because we've kind of seen that kind of things happen before, so I just really hope that this can just really help elevate Montez to be a star within the tag team itself.
Why is he a bigger star? Why do you feel he's a bigger star?
Than Angelo Dawkins? Yeah. He's got the charisma. He's got the look. He's got just charisma, like just that can just ooze out of every pore.
But Dawkins is a bigger guy. If you're looking at, he's a bigger guy. I see there's more potential with Dawkins down the road. They can do more with him. He's a more imposing figure.
I'm
He's
a
a big.
Montez Ford guy.
I'm not comparing the two, but like if you want to say bigger guy, Luther Reigns was a big guy. Mark Jindrak was a bigger guy.
Gaspar's
But the guy that really elevated around the time was Eddie Guerrero, who's like one of the smallest guys.
True.
Like, is a bigger guy, but like that doesn't mean that.
Well, maybe he's being shielded by Montez in that way, that you don't get to see the best of Angelo Dawkins.
No, maybe you're absolutely right. But I'm saying, like, I hope that this doesn't mean that they're going to try to experiment them more and more as singles. I like them as a team.
Too early.
I gotta move on. But Dylan Matthews says, breaking news: Jack Farmer has made himself a member of the Street Profits. Speaking of fam, he's one of the player who are the favorites. Tell the world how you listen to this AfterBuzz show. Another AfterBuzz shows.
Me.
Cut the promo.
Oh, cut the promo. Well, first off, thank you to everyone who's been bringing the smoke here to AfterBuzz TV and making us the ESPN of TV talk. Now, at this time, we need you to go ahead and hit that like button, put in a comment, subscribe, 5-star reviews, and most importantly, share it with your friends and family. That's how we grow, fam.
Do it, nerds. You have nothing else to do.
Let's talk about the man, Aleister Black, got 3 kicks to his head, but somehow limped for 20 minutes in a match against Eric Rowan. Now, the whole thing that's interesting, and we'll get to that a bit later, but the fact that Eric Rowan was on the losing end, but we didn't get an answer to that. What's in the cage? What's going on? George?
I mean, I still think it's Luke Harper's head.
Oh, that's kind of gross. What's in the box?
I mean, have we seen Luke Harper since then? I mean, come on, let's be real.
He's on his way out.
Hey, Jack's going to be talking about him on Wednesday nights soon.
Maybe more to come on that. But I thought this was a really bad sign for Rowan. I thought he was unstoppable for months, and now we're not asking what's in the cage anymore. He lost twice in a row, clean. This time to a guy who was attacked before the match even.
Right.
I think that it's a bad sign for Rowan that this is where his push has led him. Great sign for Aleister Black, though, is it looks like he's going to be having a program with one of the biggest stars in the company, and they're going to have an amazing match when they get the chance to go.
Jim, let's talk about this. AJ Styles.
Let's talk about Eric Rowan. People, why are we talking about Eric Rowan?
I wasn't. I moved on.
Eric Rowan. No,
we literally talk about
I can't. This is ridiculous.
You stopped us to go
When
back.
has this guy been relevant? When has this guy been ever relevant? He rode the coattails of Daniel Bryan. He rode the coattails of Bray Wyatt. When has he ever been? He was unstoppable. Come on, man.
When he's been relevant?
Let's move on. No more Eric
Presently,
Rowan talk.
since
No
you want
one
to
cared
continue to
ever
talk about
about
him,
No
right
one
now
ever
is
cared
when he's
about
relevant.
Yeah, you go.
Hey, no one ever cared about him. I don't know
Before
why you just
Aleister Black pinned him, who was the last guy to pin him?
I don't know. I don't pay
Exactly,
attention to Eric Rowan because he's
wins
irrelevant.
The point is,
I just
he's
cared
been
what he had in his
unbeatable,
cage.
but then
That's all I
suddenly
cared about.
he's not. But suddenly he's unbeatable. Suddenly he's been beat twice, and no
When
one
was he
ever
unbeatable,
asked.
Jack?
He's been winning every single week.
Against who? Squashing against enhancement talent.
win's a
That
win,
doesn't
man.
come out.
I mean, to be honest.
I don't count that as wins. Go on.
More
Go
wins
on.
than
Move on.
Cedric's
I
been
just
getting.
want today on Twitter released a poll question asking if you guys would be on board for a match between Aleister Black and AJ Styles. 90% of you out there said, "Oh heck yeah, man, I'm down to see the leader of the Black Mass taking on the phenomenal one." I'm on board. This might be a good WrestleMania match if it doesn't get burned early. If it doesn't get burned early for Elimination Chamber.
It's already burned early. They started a feud today, so it's going to be Elimination Chamber,
Well,
right?
it's a match next week scheduled, but it could be built on.
Yeah, but it's going to take it's going to blow off the Elimination Chamber.
I think it's going to be a match that ends with the OC interfering once it looks like AJ's going to lose, and then it's going to have the big blow-off match, which I'm hoping that AJ wins to set up Undertaker at WrestleMania.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's still a possibility, Jack.
Yeah, I'm right on board with George. I think that it's going to end. Yeah, exact same thing. I would love to see AJ
It's the exact
versus
same thing.
Undertaker, though. I wanted to put my own spin on it, but I was just going to repeat what you said.
Jack Farmer to be seen on Raw Espanol right afterwards. Yeah.
I'm not sure if this is actually legit, but Tails P in the chat said Xavier Woods pinned Eric Rowan.
You say Xavier?
Xavier. I'm sorry, excuse me.
That tells you everything. The guy's been injured for like 3 months already, so.
All right.
Yeah, Rowan's been unbeatable for 3 months.
I don't know. I don't know what you're watching, man.
Was that
If I
Josh?
can add one thing to this. So, I was just thinking about it right now. What if this were to serve as a passing of the torch in a sense where AJ Styles and the OC take on Aleister Black and The Undertaker? What do we
No.
In a tag team match player.
In a handicap tag team match.
No. Aleister Black is the modern Undertaker. You can't have him together. You need to have him built as the next Undertaker.
I'm not even sure what that is anymore. Everyone says that, but I'm not even sure what that means anymore.
Who's everyone?
It means
the
he's going to
the
start.
modern Undertaker, the
He's
passing
going
of the
to
torch.
become
No
the
one's
new
ever said
American badass.
Damn.
He's going to start riding out on his Harley.
That's
and-
crazy.
No.
The Harley comes up on the floor.
OC ain't over enough to get that kind of a spot at WrestleMania.
Moving on, we have cousins fighting right here. Angel Garza taking on Humberto
right.
Carrillo. Zelina Vega's taking on the service of Angel Garza, and it's truly and only a business-like relationship. Jack Farmer, you told me how much you love these guys being in a match together. Thoughts about the match and the implications thereof.
Look, this was an amazing match from a wrestling match standpoint, but again, it feels like the same 4 guys are just stuck in a orbit of each other constantly between Garza and Mysterio and Carrillo and Andrade. I'm ready for all 4 of them to go in different directions, but the matches are great.
Yeah, George Ramosa.
I disagree. Because I'm not against the same.
You don't even go here.
You gotta say it with the hair. Whip your hair back and forth. Because we weren't complaining when it was the same 4 to 6 guys. When it was Eddie and Chavo and
SmackDown
Ray
6.
and Benoit and Angle and Edge. You know, it's like
You said more than 4 people.
I
SmackDown
said
6?
4 to 6.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
I was
so-
heading it there. You know. So you're saying what these people need? They need 2 more people for it to be relevant?
If I just want them to move away from each other. There's 2. They don't
Jack,
have
these
to.
divisions.
But why? If you continue to see these kind of matches where they're going to be, this was a great match. Like obviously they work together.
Can I
The
stop
stakes
this
are
nonsense?
gone. There's no stakes when it's the same people trading wins and losses every week for months.
Let
You
me
need
stop this
stakes,
nonsense.
but-
Let me
Yeah,
stop
we-
this
I
nonsense.
do like a steak. I mean, we're going to
First of
see
all,
Rey
I like
Mysterio
steak too.
and
It's
Humberto
delicious.
next week against Andrade and the other guy.
Jim, what's up?
Garza.
First of all,
First of all,
why are we talking about Eddie Guerrero and 90s stuff? Like in 2000. Why are you comparing
Let's
these
talk
guys?
about Rowan again.
Let's talk about Rowan.
What is Rowan?
Why
been
are we
relevant?
comparing these guys
I'm
to
trying to
Garza?
figure out if what's in the cage. That's the big question.
There's no comparison to
there
these
is
guys.
there's a comparison.
Why?
Because
To Rowan?
No. He's talking about why
I
we're
know,
talking about
I know.
Angel. But the idea is like you can have a division of 4
No,
people.
he's
The
saying
US title division.
Those guys
you
are
can't have the
accomplished
same
stars and
guys.
were
He's
accomplished
saying you
stars.
can't have the same guys. I'm saying you can if you do it correctly.
But these are up and coming guys, okay? Don't be comparing them to established guys who've been around. Let them carve their niche. Right now, things are maybe in a holding pattern because of Andrade. Wait till this is WrestleMania season. They're just people are just going through motions because they don't have a storyline. They're not important enough to talk about. Okay,
Sure.
They're trying to push Angel Garza. Let them push it. Everyone else is irrelevant right now. Okay,
Okay.
until later on.
Well, Andrade's
Simple.
back.
Next week.
And that's
And Rowan.
okay, and we'll see what direction he's going to go in, but I don't have high hopes for it. Garza's the star that they're focusing on. Garza's the future right after WrestleMania, so let them do whatever they want with him. Whether put him with Zelina or not, Garza's the focus.
Okay. Do you think about the match itself, Jim? Is Humberto and Garza too similar in style for the average casual fan to tell them apart as far as like who to root for, who to boo?
No, because
If they're
one's
pals, what?
really good and one isn't. In ring, they can work,
Right.
but Garza's a star
I
and
agree
Carrillo's
Garza's good.
not.
Okay.
So
But they're evenly matched though in the ring.
in the ring, they can work because they have family history, right? Like that's a real thing. They come from similar backgrounds. They come from similar wrestling styles, so they can work. I'm sure these two have been working against each other since they were
So what
teenagers.
makes Garza the star is my question then. If they're that good and they work and they're good and they work the chemistry, what makes Garza the star?
One
in
guy
your
can
opinion?
talk and has charisma and a character, and the other has none of those.
Okay. Thoughts?
Garza does have a ton of charisma.
I do
Garza,
agree.
I love Garza. I do agree with that, and I hope he's the one that really comes out ahead in all this. So I do agree with that.
Yes, they're booking him, I
We've
think.
seen. Didn't they have a match last week? These two?
It was weird. They said the first time on this brand, and they technically had a match 2 weeks ago, I think. But yeah, it was kind of interesting.
And then we're going to see him on opposing sides again next week.
Yeah, next week in Brooklyn, New York, my hometown, Rey Mysterio and Humberto taking on Andrade and Garza. Looks like Zelina's having a little bit of a stable going, and Andrade returns, which finally means there's a single championship on the Raw brand. It's been it's been 30 days.
I hope they kind of expand this Zelina Vega Enterprises thing.
They should.
Robert Stone brand style.
I'm sorry?
Robert Stone brand style.
I was thinking more of like just Sherry, like just because Zelina Vega can get physical. She's not afraid to get her hands dirty the same way Sherry did. By the way, I think Sherry is one of the greatest of all time. But just kind of, I don't know. I just see it. Like I just see the presence of like. Remember the presence that Sherry had when she's standing in front of Harlem?
No,
Heat?
they weren't old enough to remember that.
Yeah.
Most of these,
I remember-
most of
I
these
remember,
nerds watching right now online, they were still in infancy
So
stages.
let's talk about Rowan again.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Shout out to Lucci in the chat who says Garza needs that United States title. I think he'll be U.S. champion in
you
time.
could be better than that.
Moving on is now time for my new favorite part of the show. It's now time for King's Court.
Hey.
Don't bow. Don't.
Please
gotta
do
put
it.
it-
Jack,
you gotta
please
put it
stop
over.
giving your hands to
Hey,
me.
at least
There's
I'm not
something-
making you guys donate, okay?
There's something about this music. I can't help it.
Charming, intellectual, and brilliant man on God's green
What am I
earth.
listening to?
So you're glad you're here,
Pay
right?
attention when the AfterBuzz King speaks.
So everyone take notes
Yes.
and learn from Jim Alexander because he's one of the only smart people around here.
I
All right,
agree.
here, Jim. What's going on, man? This is your boy Rusev.
That's right.
From Rusev Day.
That's right, my boy Rusev back on TV soon.
Or
King's Court.
not.
King's Court. Hey, no one talks at King's Court unless you're
Eric
invited to
Rowan.
Listen, Bobby's gonna get you out, and my boy Angel Garza's manning the door. Randy Orton, every personality inside of him's manning the door, because inside we got good things going on. We got Liv Morgan right next to me. Hopefully, if Jack wasn't here, she'd be right next to me. It would be Mandy Rose also next to me.
Blocking Jack.
ABC Ashley, okay?
Hold on. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What do these people do in your court? Are they playing games? Are
Hey,
they drinking
you
wine?
heard the stories offset.
Cornhole.
You heard the stories of what happens
Bang.
offset. It's exactly what we're doing. We
Okay.
can't talk about it. This is just a PG-13 show. These
Sure,
nerds don't know what happens
Sure.
in a King's Court, so I can't go into details.
Pokemon's huge in the court.
No, not in this court. And of course, all the women of The Bachelor. We're talking about Hannah. We're talking about I forgot the other girls. Victoria. And Madison.
Victoria.
Yes, this is the Bachelor court. They're welcome here too. So this is a King court. Oh, and Charlie Caruso looking good too.
She looks good every week.
Not
Yeah.
Charlie Caruso. This is
Yeah, she
special.
does.
Are there any females that you forgot to mention to be in this King's Court?
Ashley, ABC Ashley, we got
You
her.
got her too.
Who's not
Oh,
in
okay,
the court?
so-
Hey, listen, the court's getting bigger and bigger. We need more space. We need to rent out more space. So, Jack, look for some real estate. I need donations. Everyone, we're starting a GoFundMe for that.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about it.
Or do a Patreon.
Stop!
Patreon. That's another one.
See awkward moments.
Donate.
This women's elimination
Speaking
chamber
of awkward moments,
contract signing.
listen.
Yeah, I'm making sure about it. Elimination chamber. We have all the women there waiting to sign this contract, which I know is going to go to fisticuffs, right? With Shayna Baszler coming in late because, frankly, she can come in late, and it becomes this giant schmoz. George Ramosa walking me through this. What's your feeling about contract signings, especially ones on this scale?
I like them. I like contract signings because in the element of pro wrestling, you would think that every match has a contract, right? So every now and then you do want to build up some of these contracts and put them in a public eye.
How many times things go to break and it comes back match made official during the break?
It happened in the match.
No one signed a contract when the break is going.
It was an oral agreement. It was an oral verbal agreement.
Fine.
They are in court.
I'm with George. I like the contract signings because you know something's gonna go wrong. You know it's gonna go terrible, but it's fun. It's just a fun excuse to get people in the ring.
And every now and then you'll get that one person that gets on the mic and really gets their shining.
Real quick before I get to you, Jim, Derek Fisher says in the chat, Bellas deserve to be in King's Court. Thoughts about the contract signing?
Sure, Bellas can come in. I mean, they're getting inducted to another Hall of Fame.
Rightfully so.
I agree.
I don't know, rightfully so, but
Rightfully so.
not yet.
How are you not yet?
Okay, as far as contract signing, listen, Liv Morgan looked great in that one. She attacked Ruby Riott. That was a big highlight for me. But I like the whole thing between Baszler. I mean, maybe you have her wrestle someone before she gets to Becky Lynch at May. Because let's face it,
She's wrestling in the Elimination Chamber.
She stayed at Natalia.
This is the worst kept secret. Like, there's zero chance anyone has a chance in this Elimination Chamber besides Baszler. I mean,
agree.
It's like
Sarah
watching.
Logan.
It's like watching.
Sarah
I don't know who that
Logan.
is. It's like watching a game after you know the final score of, right?
Yeah.
So we need to build some kind of anticipation for it. We need to see more of Shayna Baszler going through this women's division on her way to Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
So give her a feud maybe with Natty or whoever beforehand. Have her beat down people. I like the way she came in today. They're singling her out for a reason. So it was all about Shayna Baszler. No question.
Can I ask you, this is fancy booking. What if Becky gets involved in an Elimination Chamber match and causes Baszler to lose? Would that be a swerve that would be acceptable to you? Or is
Well,
it still...
who wins that match
No.
then?
Okay,
Who
I'm
wins
just-
that match? You need
I'm
a
just-
winner,
I'm
right?
just- yeah, I just feel like it's
Liv
kind of...
Morgan wins, and that
it's just-
swerves everything for
To me,
me.
it's just way too linear.
If Becky costed Shayna the chance, then Becky would look like a coward. Like that'd be a cowardly heel thing to do.
Totally.
That would be a new wrinkle to her character?
It
Instead
would
of her
make,
wearing
it would be. I would love some new dimensions to the character, but it would be totally. It wouldn't make sense. It would be out of nowhere.
Right.
Like because she's the scrappy underdog that
Well, didn't she
destroys
say
everything.
she's rooting
but
for Baszler to win or something, or rooting for her to get through, so that she
Yeah.
wouldn't cost that then?
Yeah,
in that case.
again, I just add other... I don't know.
It was just
Other-
hypothetical.
Hypothetical.
But
Gotta
I
be attacked.
do want to see. I hope Baszler just rips through everyone, and I hope she eliminates every single woman in that elimination chamber.
Really? The
Yeah.
Braun Strowman spot?
Yeah, I want her to eliminate every single one of them and just crush them.
Doesn't that
and then
hurt?
go to WrestleMania and crush Becky.
Yes.
Doesn't that hurt the division having 3 people come back from hiatuses and Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan to have them lose that handily by the same person?
Because
Wouldn't that ruin their
they're
match?
going to go off on their own feud.
Right.
Okay.
So
Okay.
they have somewhere to go afterwards, but I think they need to make Baszler just look like she's completely unstoppable. Which is a force of nature.
Here's the thing: who loses out of this? Like the women in this elimination chamber, we know Ruby's gonna go with Liv Morgan. Maybe Sarah. Who cares if she gets involved? But what about Asuka?
Yeah.
Like that's a legitimate
She's
question.
still a tag team champion, though.
Where is she gonna be during WrestleMania? And
She's a
Natty
tag team
too.
champion.
Defending the tag team champions.
Yeah.
Against
Yeah.
who?
Natty and Beth Phoenix.
Natty
That's
and Beth
another,
Phoenix.
yeah.
Or the
The
Iconics.
Yeah. Those are options.
I guess, but she could do better than that.
But she still has the championship. It isn't like, okay, we'll give her the title to defend
Doesn't
at
seem
WrestleMania.
like it. It's that championship.
Well, that's a whole other issue about having a division without having set teams in place, but that's not their fault. That's I don't think so.
There'd be nothing else for her anyways. I mean, all the titles are spoken for with matches, and then what other kind of random exhibition match could you give her that would have space on a card that's already going to be 8 hours long?
Women's Battle Royal would be a waste if Asuka is stuck there. Thoughts about Becky getting involved? This last button on this. Would you want Becky there, or was that the right move?
For the Elimination Chamber?
No, for the contract signing. Having Becky show up.
I think she should have shown up, but I think Baszler should have just whooped her.
Okay.
Until they got... I think we need to build her as a real underdog. Like, she's really outmatched.
Yeah.
Like she's a beast. Like Baszler is like a force to be like a Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, she should have stormed in there, and then Baszler should have just beat up on her until the security came and had then given Becky something to go, whoa, this is way more than I expected.
Even this going on today, George, you still are more looking forward to the Charlotte Rhea Ripley match as far as the women's division?
I've said it once and I'll say it before.
Say it again.
I think that match is one of the few times where it's a win-win situation for both. You have either Rhea who wins and goes on to say that, you know, she beat Charlotte, one of the best women ever of all time. Or you have Charlotte win, and she goes to NXT and faces off against and then becomes part of the best women's division of all of pro wrestling.
She won't go there.
Well, she's just going to be the NXT champion and not defend it on NXT?
Is Andrade winning the NXT title? No. Where Andrade is, there's Charlotte. So that ain't happening.
Messed up. All right.
So we're living in Orlando anyways.
They're in a relationship, right? They don't want to split them apart.
But the fact that we're debating it this heavily shows that it's great booking because we don't know which way it's going to go.
Hold on. I asked Esper. Josh Alonso, what say you at this Rhea Ripley Charlotte match? Who wins? And if Charlotte does win in your scenario, does she go to NXT?
She has to.
Yikes. I don't know. This is a really just like tough question. Obviously, George and I have talked about this on Spanish Raw as well. It's one of those things where it's like Jack said, it's great booking. You're really 100% sure, not really sure which way it's going to go. Obviously, it'd be a great win for Rhea Ripley if she wins it because having a win against Charlotte would be astronomical. But at the same time, Charlotte going back down to take on the best of NXT, I think she would want to well, I don't know what's going on back there.
Yeah, what is going on back there?
It's a big studio.
If Charlotte does win, I think she goes back down to NXT because it's not developmental anymore. It's pretty much the third brand now. So if she were to win it and goes back down to defend it, I'd have no problem.
That would be a major sector. I don't see a star like that going down to NXT. Let's face it.
And I couldn't wait till Charlotte versus Mercedes Martinez.
There's so many great matches in NXT for her, though.
Or Io Shirai.
Finn Balor stepping back to NXT, would you really call that a downgrade? Or
Finn Balor is not level of Charlotte. Let's face it. Charlotte's a top of their top 5 performers in a company. What? So for her to go down there, it would be... I mean, no way.
It's not a shot against Balor to say that, I don't think, because I think Charlotte is, in my opinion, best women's wrestler of all time, as it stands. So it's not a shot against...
Debatable.
It's Sherry or whoever from the 50s.
It's not a shot against Balor to say they're not on the same level, because it's...
I think it's debatable.
I mean, you could think about this as a smart business move on WWE's part as well, because of course they want to compete against AEW, and having a big star like Charlotte go down to NXT, right? I think that would be really great on their part.
It's a good thing for Wednesdays for sure.
I think she lives over there anyways.
But they can't.
She lives in Orlando.
Why not?
What about Andrade? What about Andrade?
He probably
matters.
They're not married.
You said he didn't matter a few segments ago.
He doesn't matter in the storyline, but he matters in the personal life.
I'm just curious on when has Rowan been relevant?
Yeah. Moving on, dude. Gallows had a match against Ricochet, a tune-up match with Ricochet because he is the #1 contender for the WWE title this Thursday at Super Showdown. Ricochet wins with the shooting star press at the 6:30. Thoughts about the match, George and Mosa?
It was good. I mean, just exactly what you needed to be in, days before a big WWE Championship match against Brock Lesnar. I mean, I agree with Jim. Like, there's no way that Ricochet comes out of this as champion, but I do think it's going to be one of Brock Lesnar's best matches that he's had.
What if Ricochet wins? Just think.
He's not going to win.
What world do you live in, Flomo?
He's not going to win.
I'm trying to offer a counterpoint.
Saudi Arabia wants Ricochet to win.
It's one of those where it's like 0 points. I want him to win, but there's 0%.
Brock Lesnar's going to lose via roll-up, and Ricochet's going to celebrate. Jack Farmer, thoughts about the match tonight?
Something that I think Ricochet needs to work on a little bit, and I hate to critique the way someone performs in the ring, because I've never done it before, but I think he sells too much sometimes. Like
he oversells.
Like he acted like Gallows was the greatest champion he's ever faced. The way he was acting, like he looked like he had to really dig down deep for this win.
More than Aleister Black tonight?
With Gallows.
More than Aleister Black selling? I think.
Well, Aleister Black got attacked by 3 dudes. This is just an exhibition match against Gallows, who I don't remember the last match he's won. Ricochet's going into a match with Brock Lesnar. He needs to look like he can mess these guys up. But if he's crawling around, barely able to get up to the turnbuckle against Luke Gallows, how am I supposed to believe he has any chance in the world against Brock Lesnar?
You're not supposed to.
But not.
You're supposed to believe in him,
but not in a good way. It's not an underdog in a good way. It's like, dude, man, you should just call in sick, because if you're having this much trouble with Luke Gallows, I got bad news for you.
6 minutes and 30 seconds. That's
I'm
how long
afraid
it's
I've
going to
got
take
some
for
bad news.
Brock Lesnar.
I missed that guy. I think it's going to go over 6:30.
Wait, 6:30 over/under is the official Vegas betting line for the match on Thursday.
I think it's going to be
go over
6:30.
It's going to be like 11 minutes long.
What say you, Josh?
It's 7 minutes if it's Rowan.
Okay, for sure. Wow, you guys have no faith in Ricochet. That's cool. That's cool. Real quick, I'll talk about one of the favorites of the show, Drew McIntyre. Had a bit of a promo with Charlie Caruso. Basically, talking about his previous experience with the company, how he was the chosen one, but to let it go to his head, yo, he's one of
It
your
was
guys.
awesome. It was one of the. Yeah, go ahead.
The question I have for you is: people say it's a little bit too on the nose, a bit too like face for Drew McIntyre. He should be a badass.
Not at all. I thought that was a great interview and promo too. Like, if you didn't know the history of Drew McIntyre, that was truthful stuff there. I thought that was some kayfabe stuff that they were talking about. You know, going back and how he was a chosen one. These are all facts. They're showing him in a 3-man band. I like the evolution. This builds up to the character of what Drew McIntyre is now. That he acknowledges that he's been a failure in the past. That he's done gimmicky stuff, but this version is not to be messed with because he's come. Like, for me now, I feel that Brock Lesnar's an underdog in this match.
Ooh.
I do. Because Drew McIntyre is being booked so flawlessly by being, I think he's being like realistic and authentic in his booking. The way he's talking, the way he's presenting himself, nothing's forced about it. This is the opposite of what they always do with their faces that they love. They just shove it in your face, literally. But with Drew McIntyre, it's based on authenticity, truth, and this quiet confidence with some humor. I love the booking of this. This was an awesome
Interesting
segment.
take. Yeah, Jack Farmer, what do you think?
I think it was great. I think it was great because I agree with Jim. I thought his promo was fantastic. I love the realism that he brought into it and the history that he brought into it. But it was also a very great subtle thing in that they didn't have him come back out to the ring and just cut another generic promo. They let us miss him a little bit. Like they didn't have him there for that audience this time. And I think that's good to do with their top guys. Don't let us see him every single week in the opening promo of the show. Let us miss him a little bit. And I think that is going to add a lot of miles onto this run for him.
I like this promo today. I was getting kind of like, not annoyed, but the whole counting down the Claymore was kind of cheesy. George, what are thoughts about that? The match, the promo.
I agree with the Jays. They pretty much said everything.
Pair of Jays over there. Yeah. Lastly was a match that was really quick. Our Truth debuts Truth TV.
Hey.
His first guest was Lashley, and poor Truth just want to know if he likes Sonic the Hedgehog.
But it wasn't supposed to be Truth TV.
They should
have
listen
no
to your
idea.
popcorn talk, okay? If they want to know about Sonic the Hedgehog.
That's
not
right. This week of
Speaking of
popcorn
Sonic
talk.
the Hedgehog, check out Flobo Boys and Ryan Nielsen cover
Yeah,
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, you guys recorded.
I put over more than Ricochet. Okay?
You recorded that on the other end of the Popcorn Network campus, right?
Right, exactly. I walked through the Black Hollywood Live Pavilion over there to the Popcorn Talk Tower. It was great.
Yeah.
It was one of the best reviews I
Ninth
did.
floor?
9th floor, yeah, by the pool. Thoughts about this? I know Raw and I want to talk to you because you are the historian, the encyclopedia, George. Having these like mid-show promo segments, like the Miz TVs, the Piper's Pits, that kind of thing. Raw doesn't really have one quite as yet. Is Truth the guy? Because he's not really the 24/7 champion. Even he is, but he's not really that guy running between.
I mean, it should
anymore.
be. I think it gave us a good reminder of like, oh yeah, I do remember Truth TV. You know, so I like for this to be because he's got such just perfect comedic timing.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there's nobody better to have these kind of segments in the R-Truth.
It's funny. It's funny, but not in like. It's a funny where it gives you a chuckle because sometimes they do like these segments can become really like. Just over the top, like overdone, and just like to take themselves too seriously. This is in a way where Truth is the pun of the joke, but it's actually kind of funny where everyone can enjoy it. It's not for like a specific audience, for everyone. It's not for kids. It's for adults. It's for everyone, you know, in that sense. And I like the use of Lashley here because let's face it, what's going on with Lashley and Lana right now? You know, they are in purgatory almost because like we don't see Rusev. Liv Morgan's clearly gone on to Ruby Riott. Like, where are they, both of them, Lana and Lashley? I thought R-Truth added life to them, to their characters, and just for this week kept them fresh, right?
It was the establishment that Lana and Lashley together. I'm trying to think of any free mid-card faces that are available that are not tied up. I mean, maybe Joe?
Unfortunately, Carrillo's too busy doing the same thing.
Yeah, Kevin Owens tied up, like Samoa Joe's tied up, so I guess that's what they did. Zack Ryder. We need Zack Ryder versus Lashley next week.
I do have a hot take. I kind of missed the Lana Liv storyline.
I know. Of course.
It's like,
of course.
Yes. There were so many layers that could have added on to it.
No question.
Yeah, Liv's like, I'm still in love with you, Lana. Lana's like, you know, I'm still kind of in love with you, but I'm married to Bobby. Like, there were so many layers that could have done. I think
how did they start hooking up? Like,
and
what happened?
Then they coordinate an attack from another male roster member to attack Lashley to get him out of the way.
And especially like Rusev and Liv teaming together, it's like,
hey,
why
is it?
Like, why is Rusev and Liv teaming together? You essentially cheated on your husband with a woman,
like, and why isn't Bobby getting more curious about this too?
Yeah,
like Bobby inquiring.
This can be an entire company-focused thing. This could be the next NWO. Basically, something that just engulfs half the company.
I'd love that. You know?
Why do you disagree?
You guys done? Are you guys
Why
done?
do you disagree in your EC3 shirt?
He's in the top 1%. I'm not even going to get into the fact how dumb and how drawn out the storyline was. It's done. It was overdone. We saw last
what I
week went
missed
over.
it.
But we didn't have the backstory of it. There's
backstory. You don't
Backstory.
need
Yeah.
origin stories for this.
We need a
This is-
prequel.
We don't. That is not a family show type thing. We only have a minute and a half
I know
left.
James Mangold. I can get him to draw up and direct a backstory for this.
Super Showdown is Thursday. The card is about 7 matches deep as of right now. Let's go through it real quick.
Yep.
New Day taking on The Miz and John Morrison. Brock Lesnar against Ricochet. Roman Reigns against King Corbin. Again? Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Again, in a steel cage.
In a steel cage match for
Right.
sure. The Green Bay Riot taking on Goldberg. AJ Styles versus Andrade versus Bobby Lashley versus Eric Rowan versus R-Truth versus Maria Menounos for the two-weight trophy, which I'm not sure what that means in this context. Bayley
Mansoor's going to win that one and surprise you.
all right.
Yeah.
Bayley takes on Naomi, which I'm surprised Naomi's getting a ticket to go to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And then our tag team match for the Raw Championship, but Buddy Murphy or Murphy and Rollins take on the Street Profits. Thoughts about the card so far? Any kind of matches you think right now may steal the show? That kind of thing.
I think Brock Lesnar and Ricochet is going to be top down or just match of the night. I really hope Goldberg doesn't win. Like,
Goldberg's
he
gonna
can't win.
Goldberg.
Like, that's such BS if he wins.
I think that's
Goldberg.
that's the most
Goldberg.
intriguing. What else is the most intriguing? Nothing's like intriguing here, or like that's the one we don't know what's going to happen. There's a genuine shot Goldberg can win,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
going to
He
change
better not
everything
win.
about WrestleMania. This could have
better
such
not win.
implications going further. I love the music of Super Showdown. You know,
that's fine. Godsmack's fine.
Godsmack, Legends
Legends,
Rise,
yeah.
and I think this is the time for Goldberg to rise for last one hurrah and change the whole SmackDown
He
card.
better
The
not.
match I'm actually
I
looking forward
want him to win so bad.
Yeah.
I want
Yeah,
Goldberg to
no.
win
It's
so
not-
bad.
And not because I'm a marker for it. It's just Bayley versus Naomi only because it's to be the second women's match in Saudi Arabia.
And plus, it's a championship match.
And
It's
a
like the
championship
first ever
match.
women's
Yeah.
championship
Yeah,
match.
so I want to see how they
Any
do
chance
that.
Naomi wins though?
I think
really.
so. I think so.
Really?
Honestly, it's just because we had Impact with like the first women as a men's champion. We had AEW with the first transgender woman that went.
That would be a
women's.
big deal,
Now
yeah.
I think WWE is going to be like, oh, well, we're going to do the first ever title change in Saudi
Saudi,
Arabia.
yeah.
So I really think I'm calling right now. Naomi's going to win.
Okay.
So let me guys know what you think in the chat. Leave a comment below, and we'll talk about, discuss it amongst ourselves, the Popcorn Talk Tower. But now it's time for us to get out of here. Jack Farmer, working the world, finds you online. Good sir.
You can find me at jackcfarmer.com as well as at Real Jack Farmer across all social media. You can also check me out on the AEW Dynamite After Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, as well as on the AEW social media skim. We already filmed it for this week. You can check it out every Monday with me.
Hey, speaking of that Dynamite, I made appearances on Dynamite with Dynamic Jack, but you can find me on social media all over the board at the Jim Alexander. Real Talker's the place these days, man. I'm having breaking stories, big interviews, realtalker.com. Check it out, subscribe to my YouTube page, and you know where to find me, all the single ladies in America.
Okay. You can follow me on social media. It's G Hermosa, GHERMOZA.
And you guys can follow me at Flobo Boys on Twitter, at Flobito on Instagram, Flobito.com. Support the homie and buy a t-shirt at Flobito.threadless.com. But until next time, buzz you later.
That was an early.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners.